You took out student loans thinking you'd be making money by now, but instead, you're staring at a monthly payment you just can't afford. So what do? Default and ruin your credit? Or is there another way out? Well, what if I told you? There's a legal pause button. It's called student loan deferment. But here's the twist. Most people don't actually understand how it works, and that tiny misunderstanding can cost them thousands in interest. Today, we're breaking it down so clearly, even a fourth grader could teach it. And there's a huge catch most borrowers miss when they hit that defer button. I'll show you exactly what it is and how to avoid it. So keep watching. Number 1. What is student loan deferment, really? Student loan deferment is like pressing the snooze button on your loan payments. It temporarily lets you stop making payments or reduce the amount you owe for a certain period, without going into default. But here's what makes deferment different from just skipping your payments. It's official. You have to apply for it, get approved, and meet certain conditions. It's not, I'm broke, so I'm not paying. It's, I qualify for a pause, and my lender agrees. Here's an example. Emily just graduated but hasn't found a job yet. She applies for economic hardship deferment. Once approved, she legally doesn't have to make payments for the next few months. Her credit score stays safe. Her loans don't go into default. But, and this is big, depending on her loan type, the interest might still be growing quietly in the background. Number 2. Who qualifies for deferment? You can't just say, I'm tired, and stop paying your loans. You need a valid reason. And guess what? There are several. Here are the most common reasons people get approved. If you're enrolled in school at least half-time. If you're unemployed or struggling to find full-time work. If you're experiencing economic hardship or on public assistance. If you're serving in the military during war or a national emergency. If you're in a qualifying graduate fellowship or rehabilitation program. Let's say David just joined a rehab program after an injury, he qualifies. Or Jasmine is back in grad school, taking night classes while working part-time. She's eligible too. But if you're just not feeling it this month, that's not going to cut it. Number 3. The different types of deferment you should know. Deferment isn't one size fits all. There are actually different kinds, each with its own rules. Here are the most common. In-school deferment automatically applies when you're enrolled at least half-time in college or grad school. Unemployment deferment. For those actively seeking full-time work, you usually get up to 3 years, but you must reapply regularly. Economic hardship deferment. For those earning very little or receiving government aid. Again, you can qualify for up to 3 years. Military service and post-active duty deferment. For those serving or recently completed service. Graduate. Fellowship deferment. If you're doing advanced academic work under a fellowship program, each deferment type has its own paperwork, time limits, and reapplication rules. And most importantly, your eligibility depends on your loan type. More on that in a second. Number 4. Federal versus private loans. The deferment divide. This part is where many people mess up. Federal student loans and private student loans are not the same when it comes to deferment. If you have federal loans, like direct subsidized, direct unsubsidized, PLUS loans, or Perkins loans, you're in luck. They come with deferment options baked in. The government sets the rules. But if your loan is from a private bank or lender, things get dicey. Private lenders are not required to offer deferment. Some do, some don't. And even if they do, the rules are stricter, the time limits are shorter, and interest always piles up. So if Jake has a federal subsidized loan, he may qualify for economic hardship deferment and not owe interest during that period. But if Mia has a private loan, her lender might say, sure, you can pause payments, but we're charging interest the entire time. That's a brutal difference. Number 5. The interest trap most people fall into. Here's the sneaky part about deferment, especially with unsubsidized loans. Interest does not take a break just because you do. Let's say you defer your unsubsidized loan for 12 months. During that time, interest keeps piling up, and when deferment ends, that interest gets added to your balance. It's called capitalization. So your loan grows, even though you didn't borrow more. Here's an example. Sasha owes $10,000 on an unsubsidized loan. She defers for 1 year. Interest of $500 accrues. After deferment, her loan balance becomes $10,500. That extra $500 now gets interest on top of itself. That's how debt snowballs quietly. Number 6. How to apply for deferment the right way. Applying for deferment is not automatic unless you're in school. You have to request it. Here's how. Step 1. Contact your loan servicer. Ask them what deferment options you qualify for. Step 2. Fill out the correct deferment request form. Each type, economic hardship, unemployment, etc., has its own form. Step 3. Submit any proof they ask for. This could be pay stubs, unemployment verification, proof of enrollment, or military orders. Step 4. Wait for approval before skipping payments. Don't just assume it's approved. Step 5. Keep checking your loan account to make sure your status is updated properly. If you miss a step, you could be reported as delinquent, and that's a credit score killer. Number 7. What happens during and after deferment? Let's break this into two parts. During deferment, you're not required to make payments. If you have subsidized loans, the government covers your interest. If you have unsubsidized loans, interest grows quietly. Your loan status stays in good standing. After deferment ends, you must start payments again. Sometimes your monthly payment changes, especially if you've capitalized interest. If you don't make that first payment, your loan goes into delinquency, which is the first step toward default, and that can crush your credit for years. Number 8. Should you use deferment or forbearance? These two get confused all the time. Both let you pause payments, but they're not equal. Deferment is usually better because subsidized loans don't accrue interest during deferment. In forbearance, all loans rack up interest, and forbearance is often the only option for private loans. So if you qualify for deferment, go with that, but don't treat either one as free money time. You're just pressing pause, not delete. Number 9. When is deferment a smart move? Deferment isn't always the enemy. Sometimes it can literally save your finances. Here's when it makes sense. You lost your job and need time to recover. You're going back to school and won't earn enough for now. You're temporarily disabled or in medical rehab. You're in the military or a public service fellowship. But here's the rule. Deferment should be a temporary solution, not a lifestyle. If you keep deferring year after year, your loan could balloon way beyond your original balance. Here's an example. Chris deferred for 2 years while trying to build a business. Smart move. He avoided default and kept his credit strong. But he also knew the interest was piling up, so he budgeted for a strong comeback once deferment ended. Number 10. What you should absolutely avoid. Here's what not to do. Don't assume deferment is automatic. Don't stop paying your loans without getting official approval. Don't ignore your interest while you're on pause. And don't keep deferring just because you can. Loan servicers won't chase you to restart payments. They'll just let the debt grow, and by the time you wake up, you might owe thousands more. Number 11. Smart alternatives to deferment. Sometimes deferment isn't your only or even best option. Here are a few others. Income-driven repayment plans. Instead of pausing payments, reduce them based on your income. Some borrowers qualify for $0 payments, and those months still count toward forgiveness. Public service loan forgiveness. PSLF. If you work for the government or a nonprofit, your remaining loan could be forgiven after 10 years of payments. Temporary forbearance. If you don't qualify for deferment, you may still get a short-term break. Just be mindful of interest. Refinancing. If you have strong credit and steady income, you could refinance for a lower rate. Example. Taylor switched from deferment to an income-driven plan and paid only $15 a month while staying on track for forgiveness. That's smarter than hitting pause and letting interest stack up. Number 12. How long can you defer your loans? Most deferment options come with time limits. For example, unemployment and economic hardship deferments usually max out at 36 months total. That means you could use them for 3 years, but not all at once. You might get 6 or 12 months approved at a time and then need to reapply. In-school deferment lasts as long as you're enrolled at least half-time. Military service deferment lasts through your active duty and can extend 6 months beyond your service. Keep track of how much deferment time you've used. If you burn through it early, you won't have that safety net later. Number 13. What happens to your credit score during deferment? Here's some good news. If your deferment is approved and your account is updated correctly, your credit score won't take a hit. Your loans will show up as in deferment or current. No missed payments, no delinquencies. That helps keep your credit history clean. But if you forget to apply or stop paying while waiting for approval, you could see late payments pop up on your credit report, and those can stick around for 7 years. So always get the green light before you skip a payment. Number 14. Can you still make payments during deferment? Yes, and if you can afford to, it's actually a brilliant move. Even during deferment, you're allowed to make voluntary payments. Let's say you're in deferment for 12 months, but still earn a little side income. You could throw $50 a month toward your loan. That money goes directly toward your principal or interest, depending on the loan type, and helps shrink your total balance. It's like getting ahead without pressure. You stay protected from default, but still make progress. It's a financial win-win. Number 15. What is capitalized interest, and why should you care? This is the silent wallet drainer. Capitalized interest happens when unpaid interest is added to your loan's principal after deferment ends. Now, you're not just paying interest on your original loan. You're paying interest on the interest. Let's say you had $7,000 in student loans and paused payments for 12 months. During that time, $400 of interest built up. Once deferment ends, your balance jumps to $7,400. Now, future interest is calculated on $7,400 instead of $7,000. That's how loans silently grow over time. Always ask your servicer if your deferment type results in capitalized interest and plan for it. Number 16. What paperwork should you keep after applying? After you submit your deferment request, don't just forget about it. Save copies of everything. Keep a copy of the completed application, the proof you submitted, and any confirmation emails or letters from your loan servicer. If something goes wrong later, like your status not updating or a payment being reported late, these documents will be your safety net. Create a digital folder on your computer or phone and label it Loan Deferment. Organization now saves headaches later. Number 17. What if your deferment request is denied? It happens. Not everyone qualifies, but don't panic. If your deferment request is denied, ask your servicer for the exact reason. Sometimes it's just missing documents or outdated forms. Other times, you may not meet the criteria. In that case, explore other options like forbearance, income-driven repayment, or even switching to a different repayment plan. You're not out of options. You just need to pivot. And pivoting smartly keeps your credit safe and your loans under control. Number 18. Does deferment affect loan forgiveness? It can. This is huge, especially if you're chasing public service loan forgiveness, PSLF, or forgiveness through income-driven repayment plans. Only months when you're actively making payments count toward forgiveness. Months in deferment usually do not count. So if you defer your loan for 12 months while working at a nonprofit, those 12 months won't count toward PSLF unless you're in an income-driven plan with a $0 payment. That's why it's often better to switch to an income-driven plan than to defer, especially if forgiveness is your goal. Deferment might feel easier now, but it could delay your long-term reward. Number 19. Can you cancel a deferment once it starts? Yes, in most cases. If your financial situation improves, or you simply change your mind, you can contact your servicer and resume payments. Just let them know you want to end the deferment early, but be careful. Make sure your loan account reflects the change before you restart payments. You don't want to make a payment that gets misapplied or ignored. It's a good idea to get the cancellation in writing, via email or a formal letter, so you have a record. Number 20. Can you stack multiple deferments together? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Let's say you use 12 months of economic hardship deferment, then go back to grad school. You can then qualify for in-school deferment, even though you used deferment before, but each deferment type usually has its own lifetime limit. You can't just use economic hardship deferment forever. Stacking deferments might buy you time, but remember, your interest doesn't disappear. So always ask your loan servicer about how your deferment history affects your eligibility moving forward. Deferment isn't a magic fix, but used wisely, it can be your financial lifeline. Now that you know how it works, how to apply, and what traps to avoid, there's just one question. Have you ever deferred a student loan? What was your reason? And how did it go? Let me know in the comments.